Hey y'all, this is Alice with Witch in the Glen. I'm going to clear the energy really quick. We're going to do a reading on the divine feminine energy. That's usually what I'm picking up on. I am a Leo, Sagittarius rising, Scorpio moon. So some of this may, if you have similar strong fire energy in your chart, you might be drawn to this, or if you are likewise probably going to be somebody who identifies in the energy of a divine feminine, then you also may be drawn to this. So I read on the collective energy. It's not just a reading for me. This is what I'm getting from the collective. So it's always a little bit of a different story. And I'm going to use, this is going to be sort of a quick one. So I have to go get my son in just a few minutes. But I was going to use my mermaid. Oh my gosh, the Chariot coming out immediately. Okay, so I love this deck. I treasure this deck. This is the Tarot of Mermaids, which is a Lo Scarabeo deck made in Italy. This producer of card or editor, whatever you call it, is like my favorite. The artist is Pietro Aligo, or the designer of the deck, and the artwork is Mauro De Luca. But these are really beautiful cards. And so here we have the Chariot. I already cleared the energy, so I'm going with that because the last time I was reading yesterday, it was just, oh my gosh, Chariot after Chariot after Chariot came out at the beginning of the read. So the Chariot is incoming major, some kind of major change incoming, and you might not see it coming, but it's coming charging in. There's going to be a big shift in the energy in your life. The High Priestess just popped out as well. Okay, and we have, let me shuffle better, but we have the Wheel wanting to come out and the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, and the Fool. All right. Nine of Cups. All right, here we go. That's it. Let me get these cards right. I don't like how some of them are flipped. I don't read reverses in that way, if they're flipped or not, because I don't like to see the faces of the cards when I'm shuffling. So I like more of a Vegas style, except I love to do a bridge, but a lot of times with my tarot cards, I like to protect them, and a bridge really bends them up. So I kind of do this traditional kind of tarot shuffle that I can keep going, because I channel energy. I don't read cards. There's energy all around us. Everything is energy, and just like your body is energy, the music that you listen to on the FM radio is energy, and it's at a different frequency than the music that's on the AM radio. And likewise, even, you know, satellite radios, for example, all this is for example, are a medium, a channel of energy, a channel being like a thoroughfare from one state to another. So the cards are a really fun, beautiful, artistic way to relate to the energies. And so this isn't about, tarot is not about like predicting the future or something like that. And some people sort of use it like that, but I think that's more, that is definitionally like to predict the future and try to figure out secrets about stuff that you're not supposed to know. That is dark magic. And the reason it's dark magic is because when you focus on that kind of stuff, that's why it can come to pass. But there is such a thing as karma. Karma is huge, and the energy that you put out comes back to you, because everything is an electric circuit. You yourself are what's called a dipole, which is a type of closed electric circuit, which the energy flows from 1 to 2 poles. And the poles are your chakras. Here's another that's somehow flipped. Y'all might have seen it flip. Where'd it go? The poles are our Ace of Pentacles, crown chakra, and our root chakra. And then everything in between is a different band of energy. So the poles have a certain vibration level themselves. Their two charges are what poles are. So we have a charge at our crown, and we have a charge at our root. So your root's like the bottommost part of your butt, and it's not your genitals. It is your, I mean, it's not your reproductive organs and your sexual genitalia. It's like your elimination genitalia, because it's all about, you take in energy near the top, near your crown. You take it in from the sun, you take it in from food, and then you process that energy in this circular way through your body and expel it at the base. And all your appendages are like antennas. So I'm getting really deep in that when I was not intending to, but we have this gorgeous spread here that starts with the Chariot. I said it's like, that's gonna be our lead card here. I'm gonna put, and I'm gonna, yeah, we'll do that. So we like to use incense and sound and kind of visuals to quote unquote clear the energy, which is just like a transition from where you were to where we are now. It's just like kind of like having a moment of silence, things like that. But there's always static electricity everywhere you go. There's energy just sitting there. Energy is electricity. Energy just sitting around, floating around, quote unquote, just hanging out in our electromagnetic field of the planet. And so some of those are lower energies and some of them are higher energies. And when we're channeling, we always want to do higher energies, and we want to kind of keep our own aura in a higher energy state, and that's where we're going to see the best acceleration. So tarot, we're channeling the energy, and so we can rapidly do what's called shadow work, which is where you're, in psychology, you call it projectional psychology, where you look at the cards and you relate to, you get what you're feeling is like a Rorschach test. It's like, and that tells something about where your mind and your subconscious is. And so it's similar to reading the cards, where the energy around you that you're carrying that you have not processed yet, this is a way of bringing it up in a really gentle, kind of dreamlike fashion so that you can process the emotions that are there. And if something is making you feel, a message doesn't make you feel good or makes you feel off in any way, that is not for you. That's also like anything fear-based is not real. That's how you need to think of it. It's real. Anything fear-based is not real. So don't just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. The story has many, many layers, and you'll interpret it how you will. And some things you'll hear that are like, you'll have a recognition of, oh, that's interesting. I just said that word the other day, or like, that's a very specific kind of thing that reminds me of my life. And those things are important because they connect with you and all the things that are charged in your subconscious. So we have the Chariot and the High Priestess. This is like a spiritual leader, psychic person. She's very, very powerful. At the very beginning of the deck, we have the Fool of the Tarot deck. Tarot goes in numerical order, starting with what's called the major arcana, which are the big types of energies that flow through. So an energy might be like an energy of depression or an energy of social change. Seven of Swords. Okay, so the High Priestess, and then coming on top of that, the Seven of Swords. And I'm going to put this aside for a second, so because we need to get into these cards, because it's already a cool spread, and I'm want to keep this a little bit short. So we have a Seven of Swords, and if it's going too fast, you can slow down. You can hit the little there's a little button on the bottom where you can change the speed, and you can cut it like a quarter of the speed or whatever, or if it's not going fast enough, you can speed it up. So the wheel is also like it's like this ongoing energy of change that's always there. So the Chariot is fast moving energy, a big shift that's coming in. So this might be something like, in this macro scale for the collective, this could be something like the Great Ascension coming in. It's a big shift. Or you could look at it on like more of a national level, and you can think about whatever the news headlines are and things like that, if you follow that stuff, which I would recommend, like as a big part of your spiritual health, like disconnecting entirely. And it's not because it just makes you sad and stuff, it's just like that too, but it's just a really, really warped view that creates a really misinformed relationship with the earth and with humanity. So the wheel is this ongoing, like there's always the force of time. Time changes all, time heals all, but it also changes all. And actually shadow work heals all. And that's what we have to do here in the third dimension. We get to do our shadow work because we're souls living a human experience, not humans having a spiritual experience. We are spirit having a human experience where we can process the darkest energies of the planet, the darkest emotions, the darkest injuries to the consciousness of the planet. And so we're here, and there's always this coming of change. The Ten of Pentacles is a big success story. So I'm seeing like this high priestess. You might be this might be somebody who's like a spiritual leader in your life, and it would be a divine feminine kind of energy, and any gender can embody an energy of divine feminine and divine masculine. It's about gender. I mean, it's about well, it sort of is about gender, but it's not about it's not about sexual orientation. It's not about sex, but it's not about your sexual organs. It's about your social, like what you gravitate towards in terms of like your presentation. And so there's a masculine end of the spectrum and there's a feminine end of the spectrum. And it's not really ends, but that's another conversation. So the wheel, we have this big change coming in, and there's this high priestess who's facilitating the change. She has this shift that comes in, and it's a major shift that really changes the energy. She's psychic, and this could be like a spiritual awakening that happens where a lot of times there might have been a trauma. So it might have been in a stasis of the static trauma before the Chariot comes in, unhealed energy, and this hype, and it creates the pressure of that creates this. It's like the pearl and the oyster. The pressure of that creates this spiritual, psychic kind of ability. Think about like the more you compress carbon, it turns into a diamond. And likewise, we are also energy like carbon is. Carbon has a certain frequency. That's what makes it carbon. That's what makes the structure of carbon is the frequency. And just like that, we have a frequency, and a high priestess is extremely high, very powerful. She is this essence of femininity where she's like a pearl within the oyster, and where it's like pressure creates something really beautiful, and she has this artistic flow to her. And she's a mermaid who's up in the, notice she's a mermaid who's up in the air. She is, and she looks like she's about to speak something on a scroll. So, you know, the Little Mermaid is sort of the trope of, or I mean, you know, it's the, yeah, so the Little Mermaid is what we think of when we think of mermaids. It's kind of the first little story allegory that we have about mermaids. And in that story, she her voice is taken away, and when she goes up to land, and it's like the sirens can no longer sing when they're up on land. But she has blossomed and overcome the limitations of being a mermaid, and here she sits on not a stone, but a tree. So it's like the tides have carried her up and landed her on this tree stump that's here, and it looks like humans have turned it into more of a flat seat. So clearly she's on land. That's what that's showing us. It's not just an outcropping rock in the water like where the Little Mermaid sits, but she is on a tree stump. She is an integrated, highly integrated, energetic being, and capable of transformation. She has a voice. She has the huge moon behind her, which means she's so powerful over the light and the dark. There are these essences of birds around her, these swirling things, and I see those as birds, and which are very, very spiritual. Birds carry a lot of high-level spiritual energy. And here comes, it's like the wheels of time are carrying her on the tide. It's like the tides come in and bring her where she is naturally progressing, just like the wheels of tide are carrying her away from this turbulent water, and she goes through the turbulent water, and she goes through the gates of, like, I was going to say gates of hell, but we have Taurus and Leo. She has to navigate that but the wheel of time, the forces of nature bring her through that turbulence until she has this Ten of Pentacles. This is a success story, a big success story. The Ten of Pentacles is like monetary. It can be monetary abundance coming in, can be just like the proverbial like best level of comfort and peace and stability that somebody could have in a material 3D in the material 3D realm. And the Ten of Pentacles is the cusp of that. It's like this stable, like we can do whatever we want. We have the sun has come down under the water. We have all of this just peace, and there's love up here. And so then, and speaking of love, there's the Nine of Chalices, which is this utter completion of it is the Nine of Chalices is just below the Ten of Cups. And so the Ten of Chalices cups, the Ten of Cups is the ultimate relationship happiness. So while the Ten of Pentacles is the ultimate success story, the Ten of Cups is the ultimate success and beautiful. I think of it as being the happily ever after, where this is the success story, you know, like make it big kind of thing. And whatever your standards are for that, whatever means, you know, some people just want to be a hermit, and that might be their best, like most amazing success story. And other people want to be famous, and, you know, you can do that too if you want to manifest that. Nine of Chalices, Nine of Cups is like, she has gotten everything, and they're just waiting for the icing on the cake. The icing is already made, and she's just basking in the essence of setting up her life for this relational and spiritual abundance. The energy of consciousness is this flowing water coming in from God up at the top. The Fool, that is one of my top favorite cards, and the Fool is all about this 0 point energy, where there's absolutely the type of energy that you can immediately, with your mind, transform it into any kind of energy you want. And the Fool is getting to that blank slate of like a snap of, it can be after a trauma or in a spiritual awakening, just some sort of spontaneous event where you reach this this level of stasis in this new dimension is what that is, and you can transform that energy into whatever you want. And here's our Seven of Swords, where she's like cradling all her tools and all her tridents, and she's so proud of everything she's worked for. And here she comes bringing that energy into I'm hearing something about Christmas, and I'm seeing, and she, like I said, it's channeled energy. So it's kind of, spirit tells you what to, takes my voice and uses it. So what, kind of like the High Priestess, that's like what a channeler does, is it's like you're given this voice from God that you can use in whatever capacity you want, whether that's like a monetary success type story, or, you know, the best happily ever after. And I think that's what both are. You know, they're the cusp of their suit, but in order to have a really aligned, fulfilled life, you need all four suits: Pentacles, Chalices, Swords, and Wands. And we don't have any wands right here. Ace of Pentacles is like, here's the first step of this. Like, here comes the first step that you're taking. That's like baby steps, and here it comes. It's maybe it could be an offer of or an opportunity for this kind of Fool energy. It's like the first opportunity coming in and saying, you know, you need to take that, because you need to take that opportunity. The interesting back end of this reading, because I'm going to stop the cards here and finish it up, but is this Death card that's in the reverse. And I think that's really like symbolic of this regeneration. It's like this kind of circulates. It's like the Fool is like the most 0 point kind of energy, and it transforms, and eventually it hits you. There's this, the Fool is indicative of there having been some kind of death or closure of energy that, and it could, usually it's like the spontaneous snap, and they're in a Fool energy, and it's full void where you can manifest anything you want to manifest. And it's like, it naturally, when you want to manifest something, it culminates, and that's what the Death card is about. So it could be a real death, but because that's a culmination of energy, but it could be more of a, like this resurgence of like this in reverse. It's like it's flowing here. So we have upright, 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 upright. So it's this beautiful story. And then it's like, there's always going to be, in Sanskrit, like Sata Nama is about, you know, I always say it wrong, but you know, birth, death, blah, blah, blah. It's like life goes on and on and on, just like the wheel. And that's what this reading is really symbolizing, is this major energy that's about to come in. So look for that and just be expectant. You are in a good place, and you are just going to keep going up and up and up. Your clairvoyant abilities, your ability to tap into and manifest, that's what that is going to come through in abundance here. And you barely even have to do anything. Just ride the waves, ride the tides. I say come and go. There's an ebb and flow of like up and down, just like this energy circulates all around. You have an ebb and flow of energy. So I am going to end it here. Thank you for joining. I love doing this work. I'm gonna close it out with our incense. I hope you have a beautiful day. This is a timeless reading, so whenever this finds you, the algorithm is telling you. Algorithms can channel energy too. You know, we manufactured these cards just like we manufactured algorithms, and algorithms can help you channel your own energy if you train them and don't click on anything fear-based. So, you know, if the algorithms finds you, this is for you. And I just hope you have a beautiful day. This is the Witch and the Glen. Follow me and subscribe if you feel. It is a baby. I have a baby channel, and I'm having so much fun growing it over on like Instagram, and I would love for you to follow. High vibe. Queen of Wands here. Yeah. You be the Queen of Wands. Transform it. Follow me. There we go. Thanks.